Welcome to StudyLeap.pk, your guide to global opportunities. You know, we've talked a lot about the different pathways and employers for moving to New Zealand, but there's this one final trap that catches almost everyone. It's all about timing. So today, we're going to build the ultimate 12-month roadmap to help you dodge those really common and honestly very costly mistakes. So let me just start by asking you this. We see so many applications get stalled, or even worse, flat out rejected. What do you think is the single biggest, most preventable error that trips people up right at the finish line? Here's a hint. It's not about your qualifications or even your job offer. It's something much, much simpler and way more destructive. And there it is. I call it the expiration trap. Seriously, getting your documents in the wrong order can be absolutely catastrophic. You get your medical exam done too early and poof, it expires. You request those police certificates at the wrong moment and they become totally invalid. This one little timing mistake can literally undo months of your hard work. Today, we're going to make sure that does not happen to you. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into that final trap. Then, we'll break down the salary rules for 2026. These are non-negotiable. After that, we'll start our 12-month document countdown. And finally, we'll cover the big move itself and, most importantly, how to lock in your permanent future in New Zealand.
Okay, before we even think about a single document, we have to talk about money. You've got to know the price of admission for 2026. These salary numbers are the very first hurdle you have to clear, and trust me, there's no way around them.
The entire residency system is pretty much built around one golden rule, the median wage. Think of this as the government-set minimum pay rate that most of us have to earn to even be considered for residency. It's your ticket to get in the door.
And here it is. This is the number you need to remember. Starting August 18th, 2025, that magic number is $33.56 per hour. If your job offer comes in below this, for most pathways, your application just stops. It won't go anywhere. The big takeaway? Don't even think about signing a contract for less than this. Now, of course, there are a few key exceptions. New Zealand has some very specific needs, right? So the government has set different pay levels for certain high-demand jobs. For example, bus drivers need to be making at least $28 an hour, while some skilled tradespeople need to hit over 43. And look at this. For some of those high-level tech roles, that number jumps to nearly $70 an hour. It is absolutely vital that you know which bucket you fall into. All right, now we're at the core of our roadmap, the document countdown. This is exactly how we're going to beat that nasty expiry trap. Let's look at the precise schedule you need to follow. Sticking to this is so important. Here is the sequence, and it's so simple, but this is where people mess up. First, get your English language test done now, like today. Second, and this is crucial, only request your police certificates after you have that job offer in hand. And third, book your medical exam as the very last thing you do, right before you're about to hit submit on your application. And here's why that order is so critical. It all comes down to validity periods. Your English test results, they last for 2 whole years, so you've got plenty of breathing room there. But your police certificates are only good for 6 months, and the medical exam, that expires in just 3 short months. Get that one too early, and you'll be paying for the whole thing all over again. Okay, so you've navigated the salary rules, you've mastered the document timeline, and your visa is approved. Amazing, congratulations. Now let's talk about the real-world logistics of actually getting you and your family over to New Zealand. The great news here is that you don't have to do this alone. New Zealand's system is really good about letting you include your partner and your dependent children right there in your main residence application. Just keep in mind, a dependent child is anyone who's 24 years old or younger. So to make sure your arrival is totally smooth, just follow these 3 final steps. Once that visa is approved, a clock starts ticking. You have to physically enter New Zealand within 12 months. And before you fly, you absolutely have to complete the online New Zealand Traveler Declaration. It's this mandatory digital form for customs, so get it done ahead of time to avoid any headaches at the airport.
We are at the final phase now. Look, getting your resident visa is a massive achievement, but it's not the end of the journey. Let's talk about how you convert that temporary status into a permanent future in New Zealand.
It is so important to understand this difference. Your first resident visa is kind of like a 2-year stepping stone. It comes with certain conditions, like limits on how long you can be outside New Zealand. The real goal is the permanent resident visa, or PRV, because that's what gives you the freedom to travel in and out of the country forever, no questions asked. And there it is, the big milestone. After you've held your resident visa for 2 years and you've met all the in-country requirements, you finally become eligible to apply for the PRV. This is the application that truly locks in your place in New Zealand and puts you on the direct path to citizenship.
So let's wrap this all up. If you remember nothing else from today, please remember these 3 things. Number 1, make sure your job offer is from an official, accredited employer. Number 2, negotiate that salary to meet, or even better, beat that 2026 median wage. And number 3, time your documents perfectly to avoid that expiry trap.
Look, New Zealand is definitely looking for skilled people, but they are very strict on the rules. By following this roadmap, you can be totally ready. For more guides on visas and studying abroad, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to StudyLeap.pk. We'll see you in the next video.